Hello YouTube, this is going to be a video on my first custom using pastels on a traditional model. So this is Windhurst. I just completed him yesterday. I was not prepared for how many layers pastels need to get the proper pigment. I use pan pastels if people are curious about the materials I used, which are probably the most pigmented pastels out there. So yeah, and to top it off, I just knocked him over a second ago and scratched up his offside, so I'm gonna have to figure out like how to fix custom models because I've never done that either. Basically this project was just an experiment. So I got kind of scammed out of my money when I bought him. I was not looking for a body. I actually got him with the intent to keep him PSQ and just like have him like for my conga, and he showed up with a broken ear, staining, and smelled really badly of smoke. Like I was shocked how like stinky he was. Like he was just in my apartment, I could smell him like from across the apartment. It was really bad. So I was like, okay, I have to use this guy as a body, like hopefully like the paint masks his smell or something. He ended up being fine. I like washed him in Dawn soap and then I primed him a ton and it's all good now. But yeah, I had to re-sculpt his ear. So this is the ear that I re-sculpted. It's a little straighter and thicker than like the original Othello ear. I tried my best to get it as accurate as possible, but I wanted to make sure it also would be like structurally sound. So I did decide to make it a little thicker than the original mold. So yeah, and I'll show you guys what I just did to him. These marks right here. And I think that scratched through the primer. So I don't know like how you fix that. I guess I'll just, figure it out. There's also another like paintbrush mark that I'm gonna have to go over to. It is what it is, like I'll figure it out. But yeah, despite it being, a lot of time to get to this point, like I am really happy with him and pretty proud of him for being like my first model. I also want to disclose that I have a lot of like art background. Like I did art through high school and I was in design. I have a minor in design, so I've done a lot of hands-on stuff. I don't want to like show my work and like, oh, this is my first custom. Like I actually have a lot of experience, just not with like models like this. So yeah, I don't want people to see my work and be discouraged if they're not getting the same results right away. But yeah, I really enjoy the medium. I think I will continue using pastels. I have an airbrush at the moment, but I haven't quite found the time to like figure it out, and I think I get really discouraged when I don't know how to work something right away. Like I'm used to just picking it up and just having like a natural ability with things. It's kind of how I've survived school like my whole life. So yeah, I really enjoyed this project and I just kind of wanted to share with you guys. And I will include close-ups in a second and talk about materials I used and just general tips and techniques for people wanting to start out using pastels. So thanks. So this is my final version of Windhurst. This isn't really a technique video, I guess, but I will direct you to DJB Studios on YouTube if you have not ended up there somehow already. I used her video on specifically the eyes, which will be a close-up here in a second. Mine definitely need more work, but she's great for detail work. I feel that doing pastels, it was pretty intuitive for me in terms of shading and whatnot, but I'm sure there's loads of great YouTubers out there. As for products, I did want to include the materials I used in case you want to achieve the same sooty buckskin look. So I used just some cheap folk art paint, specifically matte. You can really choose whatever you want. If you're doing pastel, like this is really just for your detail work, so it's not too important. pan pastels. I went ahead and invested in pan pastel because I was sick of like the time it took to get the chalk pastel just grinded down just to use, and then you actually grind it down and then it's like not pigmented enough. So I definitely recommend investing in better pastels if that's what you're going to focus on. As for brushes, I just got these makeup brushes from Ross. Really cheap. They came with this like nice metal case as well. As for the actual finish, I used Krylon matte finish. This is my first project. I don't know if I can stress it enough. So far I've been happy with Krylon. I've heard some people say that it cracks paint, but for pastel it seems to work fine. Like none of my paint was cracking on my detailing. Didn't have any issues with that. Especially if you keep it light and even spraying. I personally preferred using the colored pencil instead of the eraser technique, but either or really work. I definitely think that the eraser technique is more for lighter dapples, more subtle dapples. I used just cheap paint brushes and they worked fine for me. So yeah, I hope this video was informational, and I just really wanted to get it out there for you and share my experience, because this was my first project and I'm sure you guys can do it too. So thanks for watching. Have a nice day.